What's up, guys? It's John with National Sports Entertainment, and we didn't have the greatest night tonight, but I can actually say, and first off, usually I'm in the Discord or I'll comment. I'm sorry, I literally slept. I woke up at like 1:30, and my first thought was, oh, this is great, because every time I sleep through games, we do so good. So I was so excited, and then I saw, wow, we went 1 for 4. So actually, we went 2 for 5. I did tell people to pick the Kraken. I also posted it. It's a metric I've been looking at, and they were the last team. The Sabres were that was undefeated against the spread in hockey. So that one paid out really good, actually. It was like 2.5 to 1. But that's not important. What's important is narratives. And the fact that I slept through the game is pretty cool, because I'll watch the games and stuff, and then if I go over to my parents for dinner, I'll watch the games and I'll put them on. My stepdad's like 80, but my mom, she was always into basketball. She grew up watching the Sixers and stuff, so she'll watch these games. So I was just sound asleep, and when I woke up, it was like midnight, and she's still watching the game, I guess. So she calls me at like freaking 1:40, probably about 30 minutes ago, because I texted her and just said, because she's up pretty late, and I just said, good night, love you, all that stuff, just say to your mom and dad. And she's like, oh my gosh, you should have seen the game. LukAt was doing everything, this team sucks, all this different stuff. So it was pretty cool, because I didn't watch the game, I just got her perspective. And then she said how the announcers were even talking about it, Charles Barkley and Shaq, how this guy needs help. So we know the narrative now with LukAt. We knew it last year. They brought in Wood to make it interesting, but it's more the same this year. Now let me show you something interesting about LukAt. See, I know Chris Paul all too well. I can tell you almost every game he will win and lose. That's why I know when he's going to go nuts, and that's why I know when he's going to play like crap. It was obvious against the Warriors he was going to go nuts, and he did. Now, I wanted to go into LukAt, who had this phenomenal game, and poor LukAt only lost by 2 points because his team let him down, right? Well, let's look at the box score. There's one stat in here that I noticed that LukAt gets away with every game, and nobody says a word about it because his statistics are so good. 37 points, 2 steals, 7 assists, few turnovers, got the rebounds, of course. But look at that 3-point percentage. Do you think that's an accident that Dinwiddie is constantly shooting better than Doncic? It's kind of reminding me of LeBron James, where he could put up a bunch of great numbers but miss some clutch threes, or some just important threes that would make the game out of reach, tie the game, whatever the case may be, and he's not hitting them. I mean, if you look from a percentage standpoint, outside of Green and DFS, who always plays like this on the road, I guess he shot better than Bullock, but not much. I mean, no, he shot worse than Bullock. If you look at the pace, he actually shot worse than Bullock. So just a terrible 3-point performance, and it's not an accident. Whether they're turning magnets on and off when he shoots and when certain players shoot, or whether he's bricking them, I don't know. What I do know is this is what we can look forward in the future to see basically if LukAt's going to win or lose, because I've watched a lot of his games in the playoffs. When he would win, he'd play a normal game, he'd get to the line more than 5 times, he'd hit about 30% of his 3-pointers, and his numbers aren't like 37 points, 11 rebounds. When he loses, this happens, and then the announcers will explain it away as they're better without LukAt because they're too LukAt-centric when he's in the game, all these different things. And then you look at Dinwiddie, who played way better than LukAt. That's my point. LukAt did not play. You see the game, it looks like LukAt played amazing. You really take a step back and you look at the play-by-plays and when he did certain plays, and I did look at some highlights. LukAt let the team down. I mean, it's that simple. So we know it's fake, but my point is I like looking at that kind of stuff because, again, those things usually balance out. So this helps us with our next Mavericks pick, because they're going to be a great team. LukAt's going to get a bunch of wins. He's going to have stats like this. I just wanted to point out something I noticed with LukAt and how you can kind of tell he's shaving games. when he's on fire, but somehow he can't make a three, and he's trying these logo threes that Trae Young, tries, something's up. And he's not getting to the line. He should be at the line 10 times a game. He's in his prime. Imagine LeBron or Kobe or any of these guys only getting to the line 5 times in their prime. So I want to start seeing that out of Luka. Again, I said it at the beginning of the year. I think they're going to make him pay his dues. He's going to win MVP most likely. He's going to have a great year. But it's just not the year for him to run through the league like LeBron did. I think they're trying to push. He's by himself. He needs help. And then I wanted to go into, obviously we missed. I originally had the Wizards straight up. And then I put a post out basically saying I think the Pistons +6 makes more sense. And I did. I thought they were going to give Ivy his. I thought it was going to be a closer game. But I probably should have stuck to my first instinct and realized they are really, really pushing this Warriors team. They're pushing them like the Knicks. I'm sorry, the Wizards. They're pushing them like the Knicks. If you look at Kuzma, if you look at Porzingis, Beal, they have some depth on the bench. They just really have a team that at least can be pitched as a play-in team. Not that they're going to make it, but I think they actually have a better year than some teams like Cleveland even. Cleveland's supposed to have a really, really good year. I could see a team like, just because of the fact that they want to push newer teams and things of that nature, I could see a team like the Wizards with John Wall, who just signed that giant deal. I'm sorry, not Wall. Bradley Beal just signed that giant deal. I could see the Wizards definitely winning a lot of games. And Thunder Clippers, luckily these were all first legs. So the good thing is we got this parlay, which I like it if a parlay misses, that we miss both sides. Nothing worse than having a parlay. Say you got 2 parlays and you miss 1 on each, then they're both shot. At least here we had the Clippers and the Mavs on the same parlay. But we missed those 2, obviously. And here was another just straight up trap. A few people brought it to my attention, and I knew it was possible. I just didn't think it was going to happen immediately against such a good team. Even with PG3 being out, I thought it's hard to explain away the Thunder beating even guys like Nicholas Batum, Zubac, Reggie Jackson. You still had John Wall playing. You still had Covington. I guess you can kind of explain it because you don't have Kawhi, which they haven't had him all year, to be fair. He's barely played. And the big one is you didn't have Paul George. But I still don't think this Thunder team would ever beat this Clipper team. Nicholas Batum's a great player, actually. He's always been way better than he gets credit for. But anyway, I want to go ahead and go into our picks for tomorrow. Well, actually, let me gloat on the one that I did get right. So it's very easy for me to tell when Chris Paul... Draymond Green's another one. Draymond Green will get pretty good numbers but play terrible defense. Steph will do the same thing. So Steph and Luka have a lot in common, but Ken, you come down to the Suns and who had the best games? It was obviously Devin Booker, and some people might say Bridges because he played really good defense, or Ayton if you're just looking at the stat sheet. But I think Paul did it all. I looked at some again. I tried to look at the highlights. He was the one facilitating. He was the one getting these people open. That's why he had 9 assists. 4 for 5 from the 3-point line. Just a good game. Not that they needed him to do great. And Cameron Payne's getting more minutes, so I expect Payne to start doing well too. But yeah, Chris Paul, Booker, they do this all the time. Booker's getting wide open, hitting these shots when he wants to, and when he doesn't want to, he's just, you forget he's on the court. And Chris Paul is playing like a wizard in games like this where everyone picked the Warriors, but he's going to play a complete bum when he plays a team like the Jazz. It's just Chris Paul's nature. He's the Aaron Rodgers of the NBA, probably why they both do State Farm commercials. So we're going into tomorrow, and I'm seeing a game that I liked anyway because I watched this team play the Knicks, Paolo Banchero, and they are pushing this man to the moon. I don't think he starts off 0-5. As good as this Cavaliers team is being pushed, I think it's time the Magic got their first win. Kind of like the Thunder had to beat the Clippers, same thing here. Not that we're not going to have teams start off with bad records. I think of all the rookies, and I love Shadon Sharp. it is evident that they are pushing Paolo Banchero as the guy. So, yeah, I like the Magic in this game. I like them as much that I'm going to take them as my second leg for our Dallas Clippers loss, that parlay that we picked. And we're getting 8. I'm going to take the 8 points all day long. And I might even sprinkle some on the money line because, to me, this is a perfect game. Not a lot of people watching the Magic right now. And they're not going to be realizing that Banchero is tearing down. And it's not just him. They have some other guys that are really doing good. So let's do the Magic. They're offering 8. That's fine. That matches the ESPN spread. And we're going to go ahead and bet about 52 on that. And that'll win us our first unit back, plus about $20. And again, this is a metric that it's not always right. It's not 100%. But typically, now it's usually for teams that are better. But typically, a team is just not going to start off with a horrible record against the spread. You saw Orlando is only 1-3 against the spread. Now Cleveland's 2-1, so it's not much better. But getting those points and for the upset value, the fact that we might just get a straight up upset, I really do like Paolo and the Magic. Now we're looking at we have the Knicks, who are still undefeated, and we got the Blazers. So I look at that, and we look at who we have, and this is where it gets hard because I picked the Blazers at the beginning of the year, so I really would love them to win, and it's annoying picking against them when I'm the one who kept saying they're going to be great, because then I feel like an idiot. But I just don't understand how the Heat, who have immensely struggled this year, are somehow even money with the Blazers, who have been tearing the league down. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. So while I do, how I feel about the Blazers, and I already faded them once and I paid, I do think that this will be the game that the Blazers lose finally, and they fall off of that undefeated against the spread record. So the spread's 1 point. We might as well it won't let us take the money line. So I'm going to wait till tomorrow because it sounds goofy, but to me, an extra $5-10 on that money line is going to be worth it. So they're probably going to change this to even, and if not, my money line will at least be available tomorrow. But that is who I like. I do like fading Portland just on this game because I don't think they start them off 10-0. I just think they have a really good year and win the division. And I think this is a trap game. They should not be just 1 point favorites. It makes no sense to me. And then we look at the Lakers, and I will take them to cover the spread. For the reason being, if you look at the metric, and as shitty as the Lakers are, which means they can lose this game and still cover, I don't think they're just going to continue not winning against the spread, which is the reason I took Miami. We have Portland, who is undefeated, and Miami, who is winless against the spread. So that's 2 metrics in the same game. So I really do like that game. I do like Miami. I love Portland if I'm being biased. But if I'm using my intuition and what I believe is going to happen, Miami covers. They win the game. Lakers, I believe they cover. So some of these, like I said, my book isn't letting me buy points and stuff yet. So I'm going to wait on. But I really like the Magic. I already locked that one in as our second leg. Here I really like the Lakers to cover. I really like the Heat to win / cover, whatever you want to call it. Then we have what really reminds me of Memphis, where we have a team that should not be only getting 4 versus the Bucks, who have no Chris Middleton, but they have, in my opinion, the most single-handedly unstoppable player in basketball, and that's including LukAt. I mean, just imagine the ball in Giannis' hands if any of these guys wanted to try and stop him. If this shit was real, he would be completely unstoppable like Wilt was. But my point is, I really want to take the Nets because I feel like everybody's going to be all over the Bucks, and it's just going to be, the same thing as the Grizzlies, where I pick the Nets, and then the Bucks do to them what the Grizzlies did to them. So it's a tough one because I'm split again. Do we go with the narrative that the Nets are clowns and then they're going to need a trade? If they lose and the Lakers win, they'll both be 1-3. Or are we going with nobody's taking the Nets and everyone's going to be on the Bucks, so the Nets upset them and they start talking about how they're missing Chris Middleton. So these ones are tough. I could either straight up avoid them, or I could do the courageous thing and bet them, which is what I'm going to do. So with this game, I do like the Bucks. I think the narratives outweigh the traps in basketball because you have so many games. Just like they got, like yesterday, they could have made 5 games worth of traps with what they did with the Clippers. So I'm sticking with the narrative. I think the Bucks pound the Nets, or at least beat them decisively. And this spread here is nothing more than a psychological tool to make people think the Nets should even be in the game. And some people might say, "Ooh, I'll buy the Nets up to 6. That'll be good." And I think that's what they want. I think the Bucks just trounce them. Now, again, they're 1-2 against the spread, which isn't great. But Milwaukee's 2-0, so usually that metric would make me take the Nets. It really would. And I already faded them and paid for it. Nothing worse than that. And then you do the opposite and pay again. But I just don't see them explaining away the Nets beating Giannis. I could see a couple teams. They don't even have Markieff Morris. I just don't see, and not that he's a huge player, but when you're playing Giannis, you need every big man on your roster. So here, you can pick the money line or the spread, and I'll probably go honestly into this game again by itself tomorrow, just by itself, because I don't want to mess up like I did with the Nets and the Grizzlies, and then think too much about the narrative or not enough. So that's who I like there. And the only other one that really jumps out at me here, well, there's a couple. We got the Jazz and we got the Sixers. The thing that jumps to me about the Sixers is I believe Toronto just played and they've been doing this with a lot of games where they're just having the same teams play each other, and then the very next game they're having the next team play. The way the Sixers are being presented, I love the Raptors here. I like the Raptors a lot. I'm taking them right now because... Actually, no, because they're going to make me do the money line. Okay, they're not even available on my book. My book's way behind. Sometimes they don't even let me pick games. I don't know why, but they don't seem to be available here. Yeah, so I don't know. But I will be taking the Raptors all day at home in this game. I think public money is going to be on the Sixers, and I think just because of the players they have. A lot of the public just cares about their players, so they're going to be going with the Sixers. So I really like the Raptors. But the narratives I wanted to go into, and I'm going to go into a narrative, like I said, on each team in a separate video, was just from what to expect. So again, I think they're pushing the Knicks, but this could be a game. I might stay away from this one. This could be the game they get upset. It just makes sense to me. I know it sounds goofy, but I was watching Raw, the wrestling, and on Monday, they were in Charlotte, and this guy R-Truth, he's a wrestler, he came out wearing a Charlotte Hornets jersey. The dude never ever wins in wrestling. He's more of a joke character, but he actually wound up beating somebody up. So I'm wondering if that was a little bit of a calm. But that game itself, I've been picking the Knicks a couple times this year. This one, I don't like I like the Magic over the Cavs, especially with that spread. Or I don't like it like I like the Raptors. Or like I like the Heat because of the metrics. Or the Lakers because of the metrics. And of course, with all these games, I'm talking about spreads. Unless it's a 1-point spread. So the Heat's a 1-point spread. It doesn't really matter. The Lakers does matter because I can completely see them losing and covering that spread. So that's who I have and the reasons I have them. Again, in order of confidence, I'm probably going Banchero towards the top. I really think he shows up to play. Then I really like the Raptors just because I don't think they lose back-to-back and at home. And with everyone loving the Sixers just because of their players, I like them for the same reason I like the Bucks. I think everyone's going to be all over the Nets in their place. You see the commonalities. Sixers, Lakers, Nets. 3 teams on the road with amazing players. So it can be explained away them losing, but more people are still going to be on them because they're maybe not the Bucks. The Bucks, because of Giannis, might have about even action or more money. But I guarantee you the Lakers have more money on them than the Nuggets and the Sixers do. If you're watching this, don't forget, most people out there still believe LeBron James is trying and the Lakers aren't out there acting. So there's a lot of people that believe these guys are trying. They're going to pick them every week, and they're going to lose money just like last year. So not to be too all over the place, but we have more games tomorrow. And I wanted to go over who I liked off the first sight and also what I noticed. Like I said with Luka, things to look forward to in the future. Chris Paul was obvious. I love whenever he plays because he's been doing it so long. I just know exactly what he's going to do. Luka was interesting. Again, he's being pushed as this one-man team. So for prop betting, betting Luka to go over points on a lot of games and get triple-doubles will probably be lucrative. But again, he didn't go 2 for 13 on accident. I can promise you that. He's making every other shot, but he's missing free throws and three-pointers. I don't think so. So it was obvious to me once, not beforehand obviously, but once I saw his numbers and how everything was perfect except for his three-point shooting, which was just abysmal, I realized, okay, this is not the first time he did it. He did it against the Warriors a couple times. And when he misses, I don't know if that happened in this game. When he misses off the front of the rim every time. Like almost like they are magnets, and he doesn't want it to catch the magnetic force because it's not an arcing shot. When he makes it, it's beautiful. When he misses, it's like a Ben Wallace free throw, just clank right off the front of the rim. And I've noticed that, so I'm going to watch those three-pointers to see if he did that this game. But yeah, so like I said, I don't want to make this too long, but I slept a lot, so I didn't get a chance to put any video out really yesterday outside of going over the games, but no recaps. But yeah, that's who I like. There's nobody else that jumps at me. The Timberwolves I like. I don't think they're going to get upset again, but strictly on the money line. Pacers, Bulls I'm staying away from. Hawks, Pistons I'm staying away from. Although this would be a great upset of the Hawks, but they just got upset. So again, it makes it very, very difficult to make that discernment when they just got upset yesterday or the 24th. So if I decide to play the Hawks, if I decide to play the Bulls, Timberwolves, I will definitely put a video out. But just for now, just so you know, and I haven't updated my sequences just because I'm trying to do Discord now and a few other things. But the Magic Cavaliers I like a lot. That's going to be my second leg of our Dallas loss, where we lost on the Dallas Clippers parlay. I'm going Magic with the points, and I already showed you guys. So then I'm taking the Raptors in a new sequence, fresh sequence to beat the Sixers. I'm doing the same thing with the Lakers. I'm picking to cover the spread though. And then I'm picking the Heat. Unfortunately, I'm fading the Blazers again, hoping that I don't kick myself. I think the Heat end that undefeated streak and that undefeated against the spread streak. A lot of public money going to be on the Blazers. To me, it makes sense. We just saw them in prime time. We saw them look good. I think they need to show the Heat looking pretty good in prime time. They can't have them looking like bums. So those are who I like. I know it wasn't a lot. I'm sorry. I'm still pretty tired. So, I mean, I know this video isn't going to be perfect, but I wanted to at least get my picks out before my phone died. My charger's, I don't even know where it's at right now, to be honest. But I wanted to get the picks out and my recap of last night's games between Paul, Luka, and all the other stuff. We'll go into football, obviously. We don't have football for another day, so we're good there. And I'm not even sure if I'm playing the Wednesday game, but we might. So, it's Thursday. Okay, so I'll look into that for sure, though. And then we'll look into, I think we do have a Wednesday game. There's usually a Wednesday game. No. Let me see. Nope, no Wednesday games. So I'll look into these Thursday games, and we'll see who we like, and then we'll look into the weekend games. But I've been wanting to stick with basketball while it's going on, of course. No reason to look into football right now when it's not for 3 more days, so 2 more days. So I do like the, like I said, a couple games on this here schedule, and when I'm awake and feeling better, I'll be able to do a much better video on these teams. I just wanted to get my picks out before. I do have a pretty busy day today and tomorrow. I've been pet sitting. The owners come back, so I'm going to be dealing with a lot with them, talking to them, and I have to make sure the house is clean, etc. So everyone take care. Happy earnings. Sorry we didn't have a great day today, but I'm not worried. I got my leg 2 with the Suns. That's why I recommended them as a leg 2, and we'll easily make back this Wizards 1 and that parlay 1. So those 2 losses we'll get back easily, I think, with the Magic and the Raptors. And then the other ones I like too, Lakers, Heat, and Bucks. So take care and happy earnings.